Good evening,
Good evening.
President and members of Council. In addressing my comments to the Mayor, I'd like to congratulate the Mayor on the transit plan as it's been presented for the downtown core. It's imaginative, it has a great deal of creativity, and the Green Coalition is very supportive of these initiatives being taken by the city. We have one issue that pertains to the West Island, and of course you've just heard from Sylvia about the Doney Spur. We're delighted to see as a detail in the plan that there will be a metro extension to Bois-Franc, because that's where we see to be the terminal point for a potential Doney Spur line, which would extend to as far west as it can. I'd just like to point out we had a letter from your administration in December 2005. It was signed Jean Bertrand, chef de division, and it says « Nous croyons que l'utilisation potentielle d'autobus n'empêchera pas l'implantation éventuelle de modes lourds, meaning a rail system. And we'd like to draw to your attention that there's an inconsistency with this insofar as that line continues to be used by CN and will potentially be used indefinitely into the future by CN for freight deliveries in the industrial parks in Saint-Laurent and Dorval and Lachine. Our particular perspectives with respect to using that line for rail was that in point of fact there could be some sharing of the bed. It's a time arrangement, and that during the daytime hours this would become available for moving people rather than freight. But the idea of putting a road in there with autobuses is an impossibility, simply because a bed like that couldn't possibly be shared with a rail system and autobuses at the same time. And that's it's in the plan. It's an inconsistency that we're aware of, and we'd like to bring it to your attention and ask you what your response would be to this, and what can possibly be done to modify that plan in the direction of light rail in the future.
Is this your question? Yeah?
Yeah, that's my question.
Mr.
Yes.
Mayor?
I think that the best way to explain that is in the consultation process. We're not saying that the plan is perfect. It has to be looked at by the individuals that are really concerned by certain aspects of the plan. And as you know, Mr. Fletcher, you can be present. There'll be information sessions in the month of June, so you'll have access to all the information. At that time, you can ask questions just to clarify the interpretation that you have of the bus lane that would maybe be with the... it's not my understanding of the letter that you have, but however, what's important is that you come to the information session, and afterwards, in the month of August, you'll have an opportunity to either write a brief or explain in person, and
okay.
We'll take into consideration the remarks and your suggestions.
Right, thank you. Just as a follow-up question, I am hoping that the City of Montreal and the Agglomeration has taken account of the developments off the west end of the island between 2001 and 2006 census. Among the greatest residential developments in Canada took place in that particular quarter, as well as, of course, up in Mirabel and Blainville. And we recognize that within the decade or so that will follow, there'll be a great potential for additional traffic to be added to particularly the Trans-Canadian Highway, Trans-Canada Highway. And it will already exacerbate the situation there with respect to transit. And we think, there could be some moving up of the priorities for this spur to alleviate that traffic. It's central, close to the highway, the Doney Spur, I mean. And the Rigaud line serves well the south part of the island, but not necessarily the north side of the island. It's a bit distal. So we have this continuing traffic congestion problem, and I'm just wondering whether or not the city has taken account of the impacts that are going to be coming from off-island further west.
The answer to the question is yes. And it's not only a Montreal problem, it's a problem of all the major cities, at least in Canada. We have regular discussions with the mayors of Canada on exactly the subject that you're addressing tonight. I think the mayors of the reconstituted cities and also the councillors are also concerned about the quality of air in the days of smog that are more important, and climate change and the effect it has on biodiversity. I think that we've agreed with the Mayor of Beaconsfield and at this council here unanimously to purchase part of Angel Wood. So we
congratulations,
see that,
Mr. Mayor.
we see that the green space is important. Eco-territories is also important, and I'm convinced that the discussions that were held with the representatives of the reconstituted cities, they don't like to be in gridlock every day on a regular basis. However, the question that is asked is yes, but you have to improve public transit, not only with the commuter trains, but with other means of transportation, and that's exactly the plan that is in the transportation proposal that is tabled. And I think that the remarks that you're making could be part also of the brief that you would have on Doney Spur. So you're welcome to the information and consultation process. And as you know, we'll take into consideration your recommendations given the expertise that you have.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Merci beaucoup.